You ready? Come on up. Yes, sir. This is my friend Alfonso. Mira.
How you guys doing? Man, I never talked on the microphone before, so I'm kind of nervous. But one of my goals for this week was to put plates on my car, and I did that today all day. Man, that DMV is something else. Yes, I was there for like 5 hours, but I got it done, and that was my goal for this weekend. I'm glad because I don't gotta take the bus no more.
Beautiful. Listen, that's huge. That's huge. Anybody else have anything amazing to share? Let's go, Mr. Andrew.
So last week I was a little weirded out because there wasn't like many marketing ideas out there for you guys, but they said they'd find me something. And then on Monday, I got an email from Make-A-Wish Foundation for a marketing director position. And I used the reference from the workshop and I sent back a note saying, I welcome you the opportunity to call me. And who called me today? So on Thursday, I have an interview with Make-A-Wish Foundation for the marketing coordinator position. Yeah.
Congratulations. And so what he's referring to is on Fridays, we have this awesome resume workshop. I mean, and I'm in there like this. I was like, wow, it was so good. But one thing she did put forth, like the resume is about you. It's not like an application where you're answering the employer's questions. So she made that very clear. This is an opportunity to highlight your strengths. This is an opportunity to say, hey, you want me on your team, trust me. And she gave them all the tools that they needed to word it, to end it confidently, to not in a please hire me kind of way, but you might want to hire me. And so it was beautiful. So he used the tools. Obviously they work, and here we are. Anybody else? Miss Julie, come on up, sir. This is my other friend.
How y'all doing? I'm Julius. How y'all doing? I joined the church this week. I've been paying my tithes for the last month since I joined the church, and that's all I want to share. Just make sure y'all pay y'all tithes and offerings. God gonna continue to bless you.
I love it. I love it. Which church did you join, sir? Do you mind telling us?
Pentecostal Temple of God in Christ.
All right. All right. Yes, that's good. We can go ahead and give that a hand. That's amazing. Anything else amazing happen for anybody that you might want to share? Mr. Rex? I like Mr. Rex. I'm going to put him on my PR team because he tells me things like my voice heals him and stuff. So I'm going to have to start cash apping you.
Oh, yeah, Friday afternoon, I was blessed to be able to go to another Hope for Prisoners graduation at Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Headquarters. It was awesome. There was over 35 individuals that graduated, and I'd met two of them at the Huddle last week before they graduated and got to spend some time with them downstairs while they was waiting on the Huddle. And it's always such a blessing to see these people go through there and see them come out the other side and just do well for themselves with the tools that Hope for Prisoners gives them and the support. It's just so awesome.
So that's actually where my journey with Hope for Prisoners started at the graduations. Let me go back a little bit further. I don't know if a lot of you know this. People who go through the workshop know this, but I don't even know if my Hope for Prisoners family understands how this is a destiny moment for me to be standing here today. So back in 2010, I'm in a church parking lot, and Hope is at the Genesis getting everything up and running. They're looking for mentorships. They're looking for support. And I go by the booth, and I'm looking down at the brochure, and I'm like, ever had that knowing? It's like, I'm supposed to be a part of this. And that was 2010. I didn't meet Jon until 2017. And my friends, for whatever reason, my circle of friends are always my marketing PR people without me asking. Oh, she can sing, she can sing. So they always do that to me. And Jon said, hey, how would you feel about singing for our graduations? And I'm like, yeah, sounds good, sounds good. But I didn't know him. I didn't know he was going to follow up. I didn't know he was a man of his word. But sure enough, he contacted me. And that was what, almost 3 years, 2.5 years now. And that's where I started. And then I got into the training. And now I am a part of the Hope for Prisoners family full time. Yes. So, I mean, but that journey started with a knowing in my spirit that I was supposed to be a part of this organization. And you know how you go through your interview process and they ask you the major question, basically, why are you a good fit? And I looked him square in his face. I went like this. I said, because I am hope. And I looked at him, and he didn't know this about me, but my father met my mother off of a 10-year prison sentence for attempted murder. She was 18, he was 28. And out of that came 3 girls. But before he met my mother, he had 2 boys, right? And so my father was a justice impacted individual. Most of my family on both sides are justice involved individuals. And my oldest brother has been in prison since he was 17 years old. And he's in his mid 50s now. And barring a miracle, that's where he'll die unless God decides to do something else. And one of my favorite uncles growing up, he was so fun and full of life. I saw him do this thing of in and out of prison. He would come out, I don't know what it is, but is there such a thing as a prison glow? I mean, he just came out so beautiful and muscular and handsome, and his hair was waves was right, and his skin was glowing. You know, he just would come out this gorgeous guy, but within a few months, 6 months or so, I'd see him kind of diminish a little bit in his appearance. So I would know he was on his cycle. So I said all that to say he did that for most of my childhood until one day someone decided to drive a screwdriver through his temple in a halfway house. So when I say I am hope, I am hope. You know, I don't have a record of my own per se, but I understand the necessity of programs like this because my uncle will probably be alive today. My brother, who I'm sure didn't have just one offense, would probably not be spending the rest of his life in prison. And it's funny because I said my father met my mother off of a 10-year prison sentence for attempted murder. So that means as a little girl, I still shouldn't see you carrying guns around. Does that make sense? Like prison, that time in prison didn't change him per se. It didn't say, hey, this is probably not what we should be doing. So he never had an opportunity like we do through the workshop to really do the hard mindset stuff to say, let's choose a different path, because it was what he knew and it was his default. And there was nothing to interrupt that I could tell. So I said all that to say, I believe that my connection to hope was kind of more rooted in my family history. And it was just, you know, where do you find a place that you can utilize all your gifts and talents and have fun all day? Where's that place at, you know? Right here. So I am so that's my thankful for this evening. I am standing in destiny. I'm standing in a place that in 2010 I knew I should be. So I give God glory and praise for that. Can you clap it up with me? And so this is a portion where we're going to go ahead. I am going to go ahead and lead us in a quick prayer. And then I will introduce our fabulous speaker. I will read her bio, and that will be the next voice you hear. Is that okay? Father, we thank you so much for who you are. We thank you that we get this opportunity each week to connect, to fellowship with the ones we love, to be encouraged by the things you have done and the things that you are doing. I thank you for this opportunity to obey Psalm 96:3, where we get to we get to publish your glorious deeds among the nations, and we get to tell of all the marvelous things that you have done. So we thank you for that opportunity to be refreshed and to be reminded of how much you love us and how you are always working whether we see it or not. You're always moving on our behalf because you're such a good, loving, amazing Father. And we just want to honor you tonight. And we ask that you be glorified. We ask that you give Tomi exactly what we need to hear that would encourage our hearts and give us strength to run on and press toward the mark. I thank you, Lord, that you would just wash over her with peace even now, that she would just hear from you clearly, and that she would be as energized and encouraged as we are. And it's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, just a good little bio here. Got some good stuff on here. You ready? Okay, so Miss Tomi Bell says, now living in Las Vegas, Nevada, this Louisville, Kentucky native is known as songstress Tomi Bell. She's known in the entertainment world as a multi-talented artist who is passionate about performing live and experimenting with different genres of music. Tomi had an interest in music from an early age and started performing at talent shows, local churches, and private events. She has written and recorded songs that had landed her music onto the UK Breaking Artist chart, holding #9 position for 13 weeks, becoming one of the internet radio station's most favorable artists with radio play and blog talk internet interviews. During her career, Tomi Bell has performed with a number of famous artists, backing up eminent singers, Barry Manilow, we all know him, Michael McDonald, these some heavy hitters, ma'am, Mason, Betha, and more. As a member of the Las Vegas Mass Choir, Tomi Bell performed live on the Ellen DeGeneres Show with Grammy Award-winning rock sensation Imagine Dragons, mastering multiple styles of singing in genres such as pop, rock, jazz, and Motown. Tomi has experience in foundational knowledge of the audio production process. What, you mixing and carrying on too? Okay. Professionalism and skills in recording, music creation, and editing. That's a whole different skill. Tomi Bell enjoys empowering and mentoring independent artists to utilize their full potential while pursuing a career in music. A humanitarian devoted to entertaining the elderly and assisting in charitable events. That's huge. Let's give her a hand and a warm welcome.
Thank you.
Come on up, love.
We should link up. I can tell you can sing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Tomi Bell. I'm nervous as I don't know what. I used to be in front of people performing and entertaining, but to tell a story about myself is that's just a whole nother situation. I come from Louisville, Kentucky, was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s. I started out listening to music. I come from MTV. I'm the generation of MTV. That isn't a generation in itself. I remember the first day that it aired. I knew it was going to be a big deal. And, I grew up knowing that was what I wanted to do, was to be in music. I watched Michael Jackson's solo career just blow up. I watched Madonna and all these other people. And I just knew growing up, that's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be an entertainer. And as life went through, I've had kind of a dysfunctional life with family. I grew up not knowing my dad, my mom, kind of was 5 of us. So it wasn't always that I could have things for myself. I had to share, I had brothers and sisters, we were kind of divided. We weren't a very close family. It was just kind of a generational thing. And I know that things went bad for me from the household. There was a lot of dysfunction for me. Going to school, I was, very well liked, voted talented, was always involved in something, whether it was photography or just, things going on in school. I had friends, somewhere, and I'm still at 47 trying to figure out where it went wrong. I want to say that I just kind of chose some bad people because I grew up in church. My granddad used to come and pick me up. I remember my other brothers and sisters. That's why you got to go to church. It was kind of like a bad deal to them. Was you got to go to church, but I'm grateful that I had to go to church because I knew when things went wrong for me, where my base was, where my foundation was, who to run to. And so I grew up in church. I was in the choir most of my life, as a growing up as a young girl, all the way up to maybe 16. I think around 16, 17 years old, I just lost the interest. My granddad passed away in a terrible car accident. And that, I think, because I was a granddaddy's girl, I was a one child my mom had that he just really took the liking to. He believed in me. He believed, in my career because everybody always knew that I was a singer. I was a singer all the way through school. And so I think that he kind of saw that light, that I would be something someday. But when he passed away, I think that I want to say that's where things really went bad for me. Um, my granddad was involved in a bad car accident, knocked both of his legs off. He was in the middle of rush hour traffic. It was just a really terrible accident. And I don't think I've ever really recovered from that because my granddad was the person that took care of me. My mom had other children and I didn't have a dad. I'm 47. I don't know what he looks like. Never seen my dad in my life. So that in itself kind of caused some dysfunction for me. But my granddad always believed in me. He became my dad, and he always made sure I had the things that I needed for school. School supplies, my choir robe and the cleaners, whatever, to keep me on track, to keep me motivated, to keep me on the right path. And when he passed away, I think that was really what just took me down. But there's drugs in my story, and my children were taken from me too. I had two daughters also. I don't want to go too in depth with that because I get very emotional about how things went and how terrible they went so terribly, so fast. And family played a big part in that too. But I will say that when I lost my granddad, that just kind of took what problems I already had and just created even more of a fiasco in my life. Um, and so I ended up in trouble. I ended up locked up. The reason why I was arrested was a child support situation where, family members had taken my daughters in to take care of them for me. I had two girls. And just to give me time to get myself together. But, as I tried to do that, it was very hard not having them. So that didn't help me. That made me worse. And so I'm trying not to skip around because I want you all to know it's a big, big story, but there's so many pieces to it. With the girls missing from my life, it really just kind of threw me into really a bad life. And my grandfather at the time, that when the girls were taken from me, he passed away. So all of this happened all in the same moments. So the people that I knew for a fact loved me were just gone. So I couldn't think in my mind to do right. I could only think about what was going on in that moment that my kids were gone and my grandfather was gone and it was just me. And so I just went down a bad road. Well, the child support, I didn't pay it because I felt that I didn't need to. I wasn't a bad mom in my mind, but truthfully speaking, I wasn't being a good mom either. I I wasn't being a good example. So I didn't pay. And so that's where incarceration comes in for me. With a problem with drugs and not paying my bill with my child support, the two together sent me off to a 5-year probation situation that this thing that they put on my leg that I wasn't prepared for in the moments of being in addiction. I didn't want to be stuck in the house. I didn't want to be anywhere where I had to come back in at a certain time because once I was out there, I was out there and there was no getting me back in. And I didn't know how serious that was. So I took that watch and I clipped it. I cut it off. And I threw it in a dumpster. And just like it was nothing, just rid myself of this watch, thinking that that would just free me. It didn't free me. It sent me sent me to prison. And so with myself in prison and my daughters away from me and my granddad gone and life just really, was bad. I was in there and somewhere in there while I was locked up, I do know that I found God. I had been away for a while as I dealt with the death of my grandfather and just the addiction for a while, Um, and my daughter, all of this, I started to have divine revelation while I was locked up, while I was in there, it gave me time to think about all of that. And mind you, I did. I found God in there. And then I was released. And then I lost God. I mean, I was in there, I was going to church and I had the Bible. I had about 4 of them. They called, put jumpsuits on, armbands, and come on out and go to church. I was the first one at the door. I was. They had me sing. I was a singer. I was the one that led devotion. Um, and then I was released and back in the same places with the same people, doing all the same things again, because in my mind, a mother without her children is already dead. That's what I would tell people, you know. I don't care what you kill me. I'm already dead. You can't kill somebody already dead. That was what I would say. That was my whole MO. You can't kill me. I'm already dead, And truth be told, that's what it felt like, not having my daughters. I lived for my kids, and not having them in my life. And the way my family had this thing set was they tried to destroy me. I don't care who hears me, They tried to destroy me. They took my daughters from me and not giving me not one shot of hope. They did it with intention. It wasn't to make me better. It was to destroy me. They wouldn't allow me to see them even in the middle of me being in recovery, even the whole process of being cleaned up and being sober. And hey, I need hope here, and hope was to see my children, to spend time with them, and my family just would take them and run. They would move this place or they would move over there. And they were purposely trying to destroy me. I do believe now that I'm older and I've seen how life has turned out for the people that have done this. And definitely they were trying to destroy me. But anyhow, I got out and I tried to work. I tried to have a relationship. I tried to be on track. I tried to get my daughters back. I tried everything. And with my family telling me no, no, and no, that hope that I thought was there for me was destroyed, because if without my children in this with me, I always felt like that was what I needed. I found out later that I needed me. I needed to want it. See, I was trying that whole, if I can, get them and everything's going to be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. I needed to want it. And so what happened was, got in trouble again. What happened? I ended up going back out to the drugs again. Yeah, I did. And that same charge of child support with the probation on there and a probation officer slash parole officer, it ended up being a situation where I violated. So I've got the same charge and now I'm in violation. They test me. I'm dirty. I'm in trouble. There I go again. So I go back to jail, but this time it's not just jail. It's institutional. It's prison. It's the big deal. Yeah. They gave me I had a 5-year sentence, but it turned into 2 years pretty much in prison. I went to prison. I went twice. What happened to me in there is what I want to talk about. I just wanted to not give you guys my prison story without telling you how things kind of led up to that moment. Um, when I went to prison, now in jail, it was fun. All my friends was in there, and we was, you know, making stuff and cooking up stuff, and we were looking at the TV, and we had the little, we had people coming from the church, and we could go to recreation and all that, even though it was more um confined more than prison. It was fun because, oh, you're going to be getting out in another week or so. It's no big deal, and you get to work in there and all this stuff. But when they tell you you're going to prison, it's a huge wake up. It's something. It's just hearing that name, prison, was like, oh my God, I'm really in trouble. Yeah. So they come and get me, and I go there, and I know a lot of the girls that were in there too, but everybody was in there for different reasons and different things. And I went in there and I played around for a while in there. Thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. I was in there. I had friends in there. I had my job in there. And, you know, you get to come out and you get to hang out, and then you have your job and you get your money sent to you and all these things here. And, at the time I had gotten married, so I had a husband. That's a whole nother story, but I did get married in the process of all of this, to prove that I had a family and I had a house. Come on, give me my kids. I got everything that I need, but that didn't work. And the relationship didn't work because it was built on the foundation of it wasn't right. It wasn't love. It was, I've got a husband. Now give me my kids. So while I'm locked up, I'm in there, I'm in prison, and I'm in there, but I'm still not to my bottom just yet, even though I've already been to jail and I've slept on jail floors, when they didn't have enough room and that kind of thing there. I slept on the floor. That still was not enough. And even this prison sentence here, I was in there, they paroled me out within like maybe 3 months. I think I was in there. They paroled me right out. Really not a big charge. It's just child support, violation of probation. I was paroled out. Still wasn't ready. Went right back to the same people, the same places. And I had done recovery. I've done the programs inside the jail. I've done the programs outside the jail. I still hadn't found my bottom yet. I still don't know where my bottom is. I just know I haven't found it with losing my daughters, with being locked up, and sleeping on the floor in prison. I mean, in the jail, not in prison yet, but in the jail. Still wasn't enough for me. It just wasn't enough. So what ended up happening was I wound back up in there again. I did. I had to go back. So I had two prison sentences. Same charge. It's amazing that all this is still on the same charge. I didn't go out and get any pick up any more charges. It was just because I had an addiction that I couldn't get somewhere and get situated. I just wasn't ready yet. That's all it is. I just wasn't ready. I go back in there, and this time, I think it's just kind of like one of those deals where if you keep going and bumping your head in the same spot, you finally wake up and say, you know what, that hurts. It does. It really, really hurts to just keep hitting myself in the same spot over and over. And I didn't have family coming to visit me. My husband at the time, he was coming, to see me and everything. But he was a part of that. He was a trigger. So he was a part of everything that was connected to that outside world that I was involved in. So what happened this time for me is I went in there and I had started to get tired. People had knew me when I got back. Oh, you were in here. And matter of fact, my sister was there before I was. So she got out and I came in. Oh, we know your sister. And we both laughed because I was in there. She was out. And then I come get out. Then she goes in. And we did that twice. So we thought it was funny. Today I don't think that's funny. I'm glad we weren't in there together, because probably would have been a lot of chaos between the two of us. But nonetheless, my sister was in there around the same time with me too. So I got a job in there at the chapel. I started working in the chapel, and I was responsible for making sure the books, all of the biblical books were in order, and that I swept and mopped. And I got close with the chaplain, and he was a good friend to me in there. And from there, I think that I'm just trying to find where everything just clicked, because there's always that moment where it just clicks. Okay, I know I got to do something. Him and I developed a friendship in there, and he would allow me to call home and check on my family, and and things like that. And next thing you know, I started leading people there. I was already a minister within my own right. I already had this divine assignment in my life. I've always felt that there was some kind of an evangelist preacher calling on me, because I'd speak, people listen. Even when I was in jail, I'd sing, and I'd put them to sleep. That was how we got through the night. Tomi sang something and I'd sing something, or Tomi, why don't you talk to us? Or, and I'd put people to sleep that way. So I knew that I had a voice. Well, I started to talk with the chaplain, and next thing you know, I'm in the choir in there. The next thing you know, they call us in the middle of the night. They pack me up and they move us off to some other institution. It's 4 hours away. It was in Wheelwright, Kentucky. So we get there. I'm like, why do I have to move? I'm on the same charge. What are they doing in the middle of the night? Bail, pack up. Where are we going? So we go to another prison facility, and it was for men, but they had transformed it into a facility for women. So I get out there in the middle. We're in the middle of a mountain, and it was like a pit down here. So we were like looking up like this. It felt like we were down inside a hole or something, kind of like Vegas. Because when you look up, you're looking at mountains, but it feels like you're down in something. And I'm looking like, what have I done? What am I, I'm looking around, and it's nothing but rocks and gravel. And I'm like, oh God, oh God. So I had already, before I left that other facility, I'd already started to get it in my head that I needed this relationship with God. I know that that's my key. I felt safe, and I had people that I helped feel safe too. So it seemed as though this started to develop, and it, while I was there, I started to get to know the chaplain there. Next thing you know, I done built a choir. I was the first female choir director in this prison's history. They had never ever had that before. Mind you, in the jail's history, I was the first female, or the first person, period, to ever be baptized in Jefferson County Jail's history. I was the first person to go in the water. Thank you. Even in the dark, I was in the light. Even in the dark, I was in the light. And see, God said, because I'm his daughter, that he need me, and he was not gonna let me be a mess out here. When I finally was released from prison, I had a slew of people that I had saved. I had helped some of those girls that were getting with other girls make decisions, to each their own, but they decided they didn't want to live like that, and they wanted to do something different. And not only that, I would have people follow me to church. I say, y'all ready? Let's go. It'd be a whole slew of us walking. In that choir, I sung for the choir. I helped lead the choir. The chaplain and I were friends. I worked in the church. I tried to stay close. No matter what situation I was in, I just stayed close. So I was released. Now what? What do we do now? Well, I went right into another program. That's what I did. So when you're in there and you keep bumping your head, you need to find something to latch on to, and don't just release yourself back out there. That was the foolishness of what I was doing. I get 3 months in there. Oh, I'm good. 4 months, I'm good. In the jail, 2 months, 60 days, feel good, look good. I'm done. No, no, no. You have to keep that going. You have to find a program that works for you. Ladies, if you've got children, find a program where you can involve your children in this. This is a family thing, you know. I had my daughters. I tried to do that. My family just took them away. They wouldn't allow that. So, but anyway, I got out and I went into a program. It was called the Freedom House, and the lady that was the lady that ran this Freedom House, she was a minister. She was an evangelist, and she kept coming to me. She was on me. Out of all the other ladies in that place, she was on me, and I think that she knew there was this gift there. She said, "Tommy, let me tell you something. You got to walk a straight line in here because these girls look up to you." I said, "Why? I don't." There's this leadership I have that I don't even know that I possess. She said, "If you fall, this whole house falls." That's what she said. And so I had to be that leader. And so what ended up happening was there was a church right behind there. And we trudged right across the railroad tracks every Sunday to get there. I said, "Y'all ready? Let's go." "Tommy, hold up. Don't leave." Got him out the door, got him to church. And so I started to see that the more that I stayed sober and the more I stayed out of trouble, that God was placing people there for me to guide and to keep, involved in this, to get it, And so what happened was I was released from that facility. I graduated. Other girls graduated. They did right because we all were together. So we did right together. I went back to the things that I was doing as a young girl, and that was music. I always knew that I had this passion and I had this gift. I looked like a singer. I sounded like a singer. Everything about me was that. But I'm also a minister too. And so I kept God with me, but I did. I went back to the thing that I wanted the most, and that was to sing. And I went out there as a karaoke singer. I just went into a bar. I'm not going to lie to you. I did. I started singing. They said, there's Tommy. Tommy Bell is in the house, y'all. She going to sing us a song. And I'm like, dang, can I at least just sit down and chill for a minute? Okay, let me get up and sing. Next thing you know, I'm their favorite. Tommy's going to sing us a song, y'all. I get up and sing. And there's club owners that started to come in there. And they started to see me and say, "Hey, are you performing anywhere? Here's my card. We need to get a Thursday night, Thirsty Thursdays, or a Grown Sexy Saturdays, or this, that, and the other." And I say, yeah, I can sing there. I didn't have no speakers, no amp, no mic. I didn't have anything. I'm just like, yeah, I got a band, I did. I said, I got it all. I didn't have nothing. And I would get on the phone with different musicians and people I had started corresponding with because they would come in there after their gigs and they'd sit around and listen to me. They knew who I was. And they said, "Well, I'll back you up and, we'll back you. And I've got mics. I've got this. I've got that." And I'd say, "Okay, well, let's put something together." Well, next thing you know, I'm all over my hometown, performing everywhere in Louisville, everywhere. I was everywhere. I was their most sought out performer. And I built my name, and I got to a point where I had outgrew home. So I moved off to Atlanta, which is 6 hours out from Kentucky. I moved there, and I was able to work with Luciano and Sanchez. They're both reggae superstars. I was able to be in the Sweet Arbor Festival twice, once main stage, the other one's the smaller stage. I recorded songs there. I worked with so many artists and so many famous artists there. And even in that, now that I have escaped and got this off my back, it's almost like trying to catch up with life. So everything just went boom for me. And from there, I come to the entertainment capital of the world. I'm like, okay, well, my experience coming here was supposed to be a Sarah and Abraham experience. Initially, I got married again. I'm married twice. And my husband and I, my ex-husband and I moved out here. And we said we wanted a Sarah and Abraham experience because I was married to a pastor. And we moved out here. And I got discouraged because, we were having a hard time. We were new. We didn't know this city at all. It's a hustle town. It ain't like it is down south. You got to get in there and you got to, it's not like that back at home as Southern people. Oh, come on, we'll help you out. We'll take care of you. Come on in. And I said it wasn't rough in Atlanta. I slept in my car a couple times to make it work. I will tell you this. I sung in every nursing home within that city. I was with the nursing home. Believe it or not, they got an entertainment. They've got their own like entertainment money. So they got a budget. That's what I was saying. They have a budget, you all, and they were paying me just a little bit. I put that little check into my bank account, and I would pay my bills with that. Every other day it was Grandfather's Day or Father's Day or Grandmother's Day, or sometimes they just have me DJ. I had my amps and my speakers and everything, and I'd come in there and I had a one-woman show. I'd sing anything from the Righteous Brothers to some Misty Blue, or just different songs, Motown. And they'd say, honey, you coming back? You gonna come back and sing for us? I said, yes, ma'am. Just go in that office and let them know you want Tommy Bell to come back. And they passed me around. You got Tommy on Wednesday? Okay, well, we need her to come over here on Father's Day next year, this, that. And so I was passed around the city with the nursing home and elderly people, and it was more fulfilling than anything I'd ever done. It's a fulfilling thing when you know that they really need you, and the light is in the room. When I would sing Unchained Melody or Get Here If You Can by Olita Adams, and you could see the room change. You could just see the sun. Both suns was just there. You could just see it. The room would get bright, and you could see that God was in the room, and that was the most fulfilling part of my career, was performing there. And I've been trying to find my way back to that, because I've got the gift to go in there and to bring the light in that place. Not everybody can do it. So I will go there, and I move away. I come here to Vegas. I meet a girl at ICLB church. And she says, oh, well, I'm in the choir. There's a choir out here. She says, well, I said, what choir? She said, Las Vegas Mass Choir. I said, they got a Las Vegas Mass Choir? She says, yes, you ought to come and audition. And I did. And Miss Victoria accepted me. They gave me almost pretty much a standing ovation when I sung. Yolanda Adams, I Opened My Heart. I sung that. And I sung that with everything here and here. And they said, okay, welcome to the Las Vegas Mass Choir. So I'm grateful for that choir here. That choir was the reason why I was able to back up Michael McDonald in his Christmas show. Really cool dude. He did his first selfie with me. He said, this is the first time I did this. How you do that? Which button you push? So you push this button right here. We both like this. He said, I said, you push the button right here. That button, he said, I always wanted to do that. This is the first selfie with me. We backed up Mike with Imagine Dragons. I wasn't here when they recorded with Dan and the guys, but I don't even know how they chose me. Why me? It would have been 30, 40 people in and out of that choir, and that choir's been around since I don't know how long. This is 2014. Imagine Dragons' album, Smoke and Mirrors. The song I Bet My Life on You was recorded with the Las Vegas Mass Choir. Mind you, I hadn't come to Las Vegas just yet, but the choir, some of the members had went to do that song with them, and they won a Grammy. So they called up the choir and said, hey, we want you guys to come. And by God's grace, he chose me. I would say it's bigger than them. I don't know. I can't, I put the work in already. I deserved it. Everything God told me to do, I did. I've had some trouble, but I found him. And that's, the trouble part is it's okay. But when you know, now you know, I can't take back that. I don't apologize for it. I almost didn't tell my fan base. I have a fan base and I put it on my Facebook page. I don't care if you don't accept me, if you know something about me. I think we all out here dealing with something or have at some point in our life. If you don't like me, I'm telling you right now, delete yourself. Delete yourself. Because it is what it is. I am standing here. I am nothing but a miracle. I walk the streets by myself. Anything could have happened to me. You know, I'm only here by God's grace and his mercy. And I found him and I have never let him go. See, I was the first female choir director. I was the first to be baptized. I'm the first Mary J. Blige, Las Vegas Mary J. Blige tribute performer here standing before you. That's my girl. And that's kind of what led me here. But I know that that was something that I saw. But I think God sees something a little bit bigger than that. And sometimes it's amazing because sometimes we think, oh, that's what he's chasing something. Can be a carrot. Okay. And then you get there and it's something else. It's not that one thing that led you there. It's something greater than that. But sometimes God sees what's in our eyes. He gives us what our heart desires. And that's what we're chasing. So when we get there, it's a little bit bigger than that. That's really not what it's about. I think that there's something greater for me in this city besides the Mary J. Blige Tribute Project. I love you, Mary, but it ain't about you. It's about Tomi. And this was called Finding Myself. My song is called Finding Myself. This session was supposed to be called Finding Yourself with Tomi Bell because I wrote a song called Finding Myself, and you can find that on Reverb Nation underneath my name spelled Tomi, Tomi, last name Bell, Bell. That's the song that was on the soul charts. I was at the laundromat washing. They called me from overseas. I didn't even know who are these people. Honey, you know, your song is on the radio. They're playing your song over here. You've been on the radio for weeks now. Really? What? I'm in Atlanta. I'm just washing clothes at the laundromat. Didn't even know my song was on. Somebody found it on the internet and started playing it. But the song has touched many, many people. And my friend told me, he said, he's a prophet. He said, Tomi, you're going to be singing that song before thousands of people. One thing I will tell you is a good song is a good song. Good music never dies. I wrote that song in 2014 and they played it on the radio the other day at 88.1. I want to tell my good friend, thank you so much for playing that song. My lovely friend Miss Miriam over there, radio personality. I love her. She's my realtor too. We're looking for a home for me. I love her. So that song, I wish that I could have performed that before you guys today. I want you to go listen. I think it's going to touch you like nobody has ever touched you before. I wrote that song in the dark. I was in a very dark place. I was in Atlanta. I had been sleeping in my car. I said, God, you said I could come here. I came here. I packed up everything. Something just clicked and said, Tomi, just leave. You know, and I did. I packed up. I tried to follow what he told because I know he's the master plan. So if he told me to do something in my spirit, that's what I did. I operated and I moved on it, you know. But then I started sleeping in the car and I'm thinking, well, how are you going to tell me to come out here? God, I'm in this car. But nothing happened to me. Sometimes those moments are moments with him that we need to accept. You know, you might have talked to God in that car. You might not have a place to stay that night. It might be just you and him in the car, conversation right there. You know, we don't take advantage of that. We're so busy complaining about our circumstances and don't know that God is connected to those circumstances because you're supposed to be reaching out. You're supposed to know in that moment, well, God, I know that whatever's going on, it's not too big for you. By your stripes, Jesus, I am healed in this moment. That means if I got to sleep here for another 4 days, by your stripes, those strikes, that means you took a beating for this whole dilemma. This whole situation here is already worked out on your behalf. And so and here I am standing before you. I could tell you a lot of things have went wonderful. I got my diploma at 40 years old. How much more time I got? Okay, I have to tell them this. I went to a school. I was living here in 2014. My husband at the time was a motor coach trainer / driver. They recruited him. They moved us off to Utah. We went to Utah. I'm like, oh God, there's no music industry there. What am I going to do in Utah? So I went to hair school. I had already knew a little bit about hair and business because I had lived in Atlanta, which is pretty much the capital for that industry. So I moved to Utah, developed some great friendships up there. I went to school. I was in Marinello School, been around for 110 years. I go to school the day I decide I want to, what do you call that? Skip school or what was a terminology we used to use back in the day? Ditch school, cut school, ditch. The girls called me, Tom, you need to come here. The doors, they locked us out. Locked us out. What? The day I decide I'm just going to chill, we getting kicked out of school. Come to find out the school had been shut down. I had 865 hours of credit. I needed about 800 more. I was in the middle of graduating. And mind you, they gave me my diploma through the program. So I find out that I don't even have a real diploma. It's unaccredited. So they don't want to take, it's like we had a disease on us because every other school I tried to get into said, nope, we ain't taking that because they can go mess us up with our financial aid. Y'all, we don't want y'all over here because y'all come here, then we're in trouble. Yeah, they treat us like we had a disease. So, well, some of us anyway. I was one of the ones that had the diploma through the school. Anyhow, I had to find a programmer somewhere to go back and get a diploma. Found a place called the Horizonte Instruction Center. I went there. I worked my fingers off to the bone. I was doing these online courses. The lady at the library said, honey, you've been here all day. Do you want some water or anything? I wish I had something. She's an old lady. Honey, you've been here all day. Do you need anything to drink? I said, no, ma'am. I was sitting in front of the computer like this because I didn't want to be left behind. Everybody else had went on to other schools. Those girls had diplomas. They've been having them. I was the only one that didn't, and I had to go online and do these courses. Mind you, I found a school, and I love Mr. Larry. He owns a school, Taylor Andrews. It's located in West Jordan, Utah. I went up there to that school, and I became an inspiration to those girls too. Those girls that went, we were all kind of divided up when they shut the doors, but when they saw me pick up and go over here to this school, a bunch of them followed me to that school. And when I graduated from that school, it's one of the largest graduations they had. And the girls from the school that I was at, they followed me. It was almost 40 minutes out they had to drive to get to school, but they followed me. And so many of those girls graduated because of me. I've been a leader. God has had me on this, Psalms 139. I can't tell God what to do with me. When he placed me in my mom's womb, it was what it was. And if I have to be a George Floyd, now I'm going to get deep now because some of us have these divine assignments. We don't know that our lives are connected to that stuff. Now, he had woke up a whole world with that. Some of us have to lay down a certain kind of way, and that's just what it is. And our lives do not belong to us. So if my testimony is for me to have to be in the darkest place to pull people out, I've got the gift to be there. I do believe I do because there's a voice. And then I'm fearless. I'm the kind of person that could be walking across fire, all kind of stuff going on around me, and I'm still walking like nothing ever happened, like nothing's going on, and it is. But it's not on me to pay attention to that. That's the problem now is we're distracted. Distraction is the worst enemy. If you set in your heart to do something like stay sober or stay on track, stay in the program, stay in the program. Don't let family, friends, those damn who's, what's, don't let those kind of people come and tell you what, where you made a mistake. You don't know what my life is. Let me tell you something. When I gave my life, when I said to God, forgive me, there's a coat. It's a coat of blood there. He lays that coat over top of your mess. Now you be careful picking up that coat. Some folks have tendency of picking up that coat and looking under saying, but you did this. What about all this other stuff? You better leave that alone. Because see, that was my story. And I was built for that. Now you, my brother or sister, you might not be built for that story. So you be careful when you pick up that coat. Because when he said that he forgive me, he sent the son to die on my behalf. That coat is laying there on top of that. See, I've already given it away. So it don't belong to me. It belongs to him. And he sealed it up. Now you want to go up underneath there, but you used to be this and all this and that. Just be careful about that. That's why I tell folks when they tell me something, you can't tell me nothing. Don't pick up that. Don't pick it up. Don't pick that coat up because you can't handle it. It was made for me. So I just encourage you all to the one thing about this program here, no matter what program you're in, God is in it. whatever your spirit, I want to say this, a power greater than yourself, because we all may not be on that same page. And I respect where you are, but I will say it's a power greater than you that restores you to your sanity. You don't look at you and then and think, oh, it's not about that. You go and you speak. The universe tells us what to do. When you get out, you're tired. You give it up. Give it up and get on track. You got people out here depending on you and that need you. They need us to walk. I've got to be in that lady told me, if you mess up in here, you take the whole room with you, girl. I said, God, you know what? It's true. Because every day they all in my face, Tomi this, Tomi that. And I know it's the spirit of it. I used to think, oh, what do they want from me? It's the spirit, it's light, the salt of the earth. When people, when you're a leader, that's a big responsibility, but people do depend on us. I can see some of you all, I know it for a fact, are going to be okay. I can see it. I can feel the energy in the room. I know when God is in it, and, just stay on the right track. I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect. I hang out with friends, Sometimes I found myself feel like I got to regroup and get back to God. Sometimes I feel too far away, but I know where my help comes from. And that's the most important thing is it doesn't matter about how far away, just remind yourself, don't go too far. Because the enemy is waiting for you to destroy you. He is and the way things are set up now, there's a lot of angry people, out here. They're very upset. They're very angry, and so you just stay on track. Finding myself. I wanted to say this really quick. Finding myself means to find strength, find faith, find hope, find happiness, finding healthy people, finding the truth. I can't see, I'm blind as a bat. Finding trust in myself, trust in my higher power. So when I wrote finding myself, that's what's in myself is finding these things, finding these healthy relationships with people, finding a way to trust myself, trust the universe and what it's telling me to do. The spirit tells me what to do, finding hope, because there is hope. You all are hope right now. Somebody told you you weren't gonna make it. I'm sure they did. My family told me I was. They waited to see me. And it's amazing because this is people that were supposed to love me, and I'm just grateful that I love people now from a distance. I don't have to have you right here with me. I can love you way over there somewhere. I've got to preserve myself. And if it's family that I got to dissipate, bye. Leave me alone. Seriously. And this is amazing because I don't want to have that. I want that. I want to embrace my family and love on them, but they have been a big, big piece of my testimony and my story. But, I still love my family. I just love them from a distance, and we have to do that. You have to preserve your energy and your spirit. You've got a journey. You have to live your life. You have people that depend on you, your family, or, maybe your children, and, maybe your husbands or wives, or maybe just you need yourself. It's amazing how we always picking everybody and all these different people. What about me? Finding myself. See, that's what this topic is. It's about finding myself. And so today, no matter who loves me or leaves me, I know that I don't want to be locked up. I know that I don't want to have drugs in my life in no kind of way. I know that. And I want to be mute. I want to sing, honey. I just want to sing, honey. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Listen. Am I on chat? Copy. I have a detail eye. Everything just kind of stands out to me. My brain is really analytical, and I'm thinking, how this baby look better than me? She done been through all this. I said, hold on, let me do some math. Hold on, how she said she did what, and she was on what, and she up here standing looking like this, all preserved, looking all preserved and stuff. But no, we are because I think it's different you know, being funny but serious at the same time, because sometimes people look like, you know, they've been out there. Like you can say, oh
I
yeah,
know.
she's been through some stuff.
Well, you know when they say that you don't look like, she said,
You
girl, I don't look like what I've been
Yeah,
through.
you don't smell like that smoke. And and you know, my eye automatically goes to God. You don't, he's such an abundant over and above God, because it's one thing to say, I'm gonna let her come through this. I'm going to let her have a testimony. But to have her standing up here gorgeous and statuesque and strong, you know, that hits different.
It does.
When you know you've been in prison and on drugs and just out there in the streets and doing the most, and you really have to tell people that for them to know, and it's still hard to believe.
I am God. I am the end result behind staying faithful to him, and I'm gonna have this career that I want in music. Everything is gonna work out, you know. And even if I don't have that, I would love to have this. I would love to be able to come to you guys and just continue to speak and just, you know, remind myself this is where it all began for me. This is really my testimony. The prison ministry would be the best thing for me, you know, and I'd be willing to forfeit anything as far as music is concerned to have this and to be able to be the voice and to stand in front of you guys and be like your backup. Like, man, look, you better leave him alone. An advocate for you guys. Yeah.
Let me tell you how good God is, because I get to worship with our hopefuls. Like that's a part of the workshop. Like the Lord opened that door to where I get to sing over them.
That's what I want.
And so we will definitely be talking.
Yeah. Girl.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's give her another hand.
Thank you.
So what we want to do now, we want to open the floor for questions, encouraging words, what you got out of it, anything you might want to share. We're going to go to our CASA friends. Because I forgot to acknowledge CASA really well in the beginning, I think I'm going to go to them first and let them ask their questions and anything they have for Miss Tomi. You got anything, anybody? Marche? Where's our friend Marceau? Our CASA friends will be right behind you, Miss Tomi. You'll see them on these screens. As they come up and ask the question, you'll see them.
Okay. Oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Get a little closer, love. Speak up for me.
My name is Gregory Johnson.
Hi.
I'm in Casa Grande. I really don't have a question. It's more like a comment or a statement. I'm just saying thank you for speaking. And I appreciate everything you said. And just keep going on. Everything is good.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's
thank
beautiful.
you. Oh,
And you know something for me, Miss Marche, you got something? I know you got something, Miss Marche. I just wanted to add, is it just me or does it hit different when the millennials have something?
Yeah.
You know, when the younger people appreciate your gift, you know, I'm an advanced age woman, you know, and when the younger people appreciate your gift and they acknowledge that just hit a little different. Is it just
It does. And that's where most of my ministry, that's the ministry I want. I wanted to build a church called the Las Vegas Church of the Arts. And I wanted it for young generation people to, you know, come in and play a violin or do whatever, you know, art that they have. Yeah. God will for me. That would be great. The Las Vegas Church of the Arts.
Say it again.
The Las Vegas Church of the Arts.
I love it. I love that.
Don't nobody steal that. No,
right. We patent that. It's on record.
I know. Yeah, I've got it already.
It's ours. Go ahead, Miss Marche.
Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Definitely look forward to listening to your song, Finding Myself, right?
Yes, Finding Myself. You'll love it.
Just a couple of notes that stood out to me, or questions I had. One thing I like how you said that you needed to want it for yourself, right? That you kind of, it sounds like you were saying, or what I heard was you built this life, this, you know, I've got the husband, I've got the home, I've got all these things. And on the outside, everything looks okay. And I'm ready for the additional responsibilities that I want to take into my life. But you said you had to get to the place that you wanted it for yourself. So I like how you shared that, because at the time you mentioned quite a few things that you wanted, quite a few things that you had acquired. but recovery wasn't a part of that at this stage, I imagine, right?
That's right.
So I really like that. And then what I wanted to ask too, because you talked about your involvement with the chaplaincy while you were incarcerated, even in the beginning, did you know before you were released that you weren't quite ready? Was there a part of you that kind of knew that you kind of still had a run in you, or was it not fully understanding the grasp that addiction had on you?
I definitely was in denial, I still looked good, in my eyes. I thought that everything was fine because I always kept myself up, had the right type of clothes, hair was done up really cute. And, in my mind, I always thought that, everything was fine. So when I was released, I was like, oh, I cannot wait till them to see that you look better and I'm even better than I was. And so, yeah, I did have this thing in the back of my mind, I had some reservations about, going back out. I knew I was going to go and see the same people. I just knew, like I said, that my bottom I just didn't have a bottom yet. When you're tired, of the life that you live, whatever that is. If it's not drugs, if it's a relationship, or, even your job, I'm tired of this. I just want to get retired. I want to be done with it. Whatever you're dealing with, when you've hit that bottom, it's just this moment. You're like, you know what, I really am done. I knew, and I didn't think that time. I just knew. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. I got God, but I can't wait to leave. But, it was just a God inside, incarcerated. And sometimes that happens. I don't know about y'all, but some of us do be finding him in there. And the next thing you know, we're like, I know you when I'm locked up.
What happened?
Yeah, I know. And he's like, wait, don't leave me. Yeah. And that's what happened. It was one of those things where I found him inside. And then I went back out and it's like, okay, God, I'm just going to put my Bible over here and go on off here as I look good. Yeah. But the last time I knew, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
And then it was time to do something different, try something different.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
A lot of times, an opportunity to ask our speakers one of their favorite books or something like that. Since you are into music, can you share what is a song that really moves your spirit with us?
I can. I open my heart.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Chad, should we be looking this way or does it matter much? Are we okay? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. We can kind of play to both screens, something like this. Okay. Okay. Oh, what was that? Yolanda Adams?
It's Yolanda Adams, and it's also her other song about the battle is the Lord's. So, she sings that about, the things that we're dealing with is not really particularly our battle. It's going to be something that God is going to take on for us. We do it together. You don't just, oh, well, God, you just do it all. Nope. Because faith without you're not doing anything, it's not going to work. So you have to put something in it to get something out of it. So I definitely am very drawn to the Yolanda Adams song, The Battle Is Not Yours, It's the Lord's. And also I open my heart because, that's a relationship thing. What we have with our powers that be is a relationship, and it's two people in it. It's not just, oh, I'm going to give you everything, cast all my cares to you, and you're going to take care of it. Nope, because you've got to continue to put the work in too, because what you put in, you get out. So now you guys see the results. You right here. You're free. I'm free. And the truth sets you free. So
Absolutely.
to thy own self be true. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Code 10, one of my favorite people, Code 10. Mr. Paris, how you doing, loved one? I think you might. Oh, there we go.
There he is.
I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your word. It's not easy to talk in front of people and everything, and I appreciate you. Miss Kay, I see you. I just want to say hi. You're doing good. You rock. I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take something in the room and then we're gonna go to Zoom. My other favorite face back here. You got something? Let me get to you, Miss Smith.
Officer Smith, parole and probation. I just want to ask how your relationship is with your girls now.
That's a very good question. Still struggling. The girls are one's 29, well, she'd be 29, and the other one's 25. And because of the way that my family created the narrative that, when I was away, they just kind of fed a lot of untruthful things to them, and they never really recovered. I actually, when I was on my feet, I had gotten a therapist, a counselor come into the house, and my youngest daughter was very disruptive, just because my family would tell her, oh, it's okay, she wasn't there anyway. You guys are grown people still conjuring up the foolishness, and I have to love them where they are too. You stay on over there and let me live, because what I don't want is to fall into a depression and fall weak when God needs me for people like you all. I forfeit that. I'd rather leave them where they are and let them deal with their emotions, and maybe they find a father, a God, or something, and they pray on their situation. What I'm not going to do is let them dictate. And that's what kids, and you guys are probably parents, and maybe you have that situation too with your children. And I love them, but I love them from a distance. I just can't tolerate what I didn't do and what I didn't do. Those things that went on, you guys, they were so little, they don't even remember. They were kids. But because I have a family that consistently wants me to remember everything I did wrong, they create that narrative. And so I have to leave them all over there somewhere. And because,
It's beautiful.
yeah, it's not that easy, because I'm like, God, I see daughters with moms, and I'm like, I wish I had that. I just love on them. I look at that situation and say, well, I'm grateful that she's got that. And I have to, understand that, I play a part in it, but I'm not going to sit here and take the weight of it. We all play a part in it, And so, yeah. Thank you for that question.
Beautiful. That was a great question.
Thank you for
We
that
got a
question.
couple more. Sorry, love. Let me get through here.
Chaplain Finney, Ms. Bell, thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
I have a question about music. If you could talk a little bit about being a musician. How do you take care of your voice? How do you select material? And how do you write songs? And do you play instruments?
God, that's like 5 questions.
That's good stuff.
So I hear it in your voice. You must be a musician too, huh? Something. Right. Artist, got you. Okay, we're still in the same family. Okay, well, one of the questions. Give me one question, and then I'll go from that one to the other one to the other one. I take care of my voice by continuously using it. So even if I don't have a gig, I will go in a heartbeat to like do some open mic or karaoke just to keep my vocals up, because it's just like exercise. You exercise your vocals, you go out and you sing, even if it's just one song, you keep those vocal cords warm. And I also use some things online. I've got these the solanges that I use. They're like little mints that you put in your mouth. They have some, there's stuff on Amazon you can put in there for vocals, for speakers too, because it's all about our vocal cords. So yeah, I do that, but mostly I just try to go to like open mic karaoke stuff just to keep my chops up. And I do play some instruments. I play bongos, congas. I'm familiar with percussion. I like shakers and cowbell stuff to kind of create sound. I did just graduate. I forgot about that. I graduated from Full Sail University with a degree in audio arts. So yeah, I am a mixer and a master and mixed music a little bit. Well, I haven't been utilizing it, but I do have a certificate in audio arts. So I'm able to mix, master, and edit music. So, but what was the other question? Songwriting. That's a good question. Last time I wrote was in actually 2015. Those songs are still great songs, but I'm not really good at sitting down and being creative on my own. It's someone with me. So I always usually have somebody that co-writes with me to pull out what I have so much in my head and in my heart. And sometimes it's trying to put it down. It's just overwhelming. So I have somebody that starts a piece of it and I say, oh yeah, and this. I'll go on my phone and look at sometimes conversations I've had and find little pieces here. And believe it or not, I've done that. I've went through my text and said, oh, this will be great, because I'm very poetic even when I type certain things when I'm writing somebody's text. So I'll say, oh, that sounds like a piece of a song right there. Believe it or not, I have done that. What was the other question? There's another one in there somewhere. Voice. Okay, that was all of them.
I think you covered
Yeah.
it, love. I think
Yeah.
we had something from Laura. Miss Laura.
I'm Laura and I work here,
Hi.
and I just want to say that your testimony blessed me so much. I
Oh,
could sit
thank
here
you.
all night. You said something so powerful. As mothers, when we don't have our kids, we are dead.
We
And
feel
at
that,
some
yes.
point, I lost custody of my children, and I was in the pit. And
Oh.
God met me right there,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to live.
Mhm.
I did not. And just hearing you speak, it just gave me so much life. And
Thank
I like
you.
the end. I might need you to repeat what you said. You said something about, how people will say, like, you went through that, and
Mhm.
maybe it's not for them, but that's the plans that God had for me.
That was your
That
destiny.
spoke so much life, because people always have something to say, and now
Yeah.
it's almost like, well, that's what God had me go
Yeah,
through
that was your
for His
testimony.
glory.
Yep, yep.
And so thank you, because
You're
you blessed
welcome.
me so much. You are so beautiful, and I
Thank
know God
you.
is going to do amazing things in your life.
Oh.
I pray that your daughters,
Thank
find
you.
that God in their heart, and at the perfect time, God will restore that, and you will
I
have
receive that.
a powerful testimony. And I just can't wait to go in my car and listen to your song.
Oh,
God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you. That was what I wrote in my book. God, I got the book with me, and it says, God, I just want somebody. I want to save somebody. I want somebody to be inspired by what's said. So I feel like I did my job, because that's what I want. I want you all to feel moved by my story. I'm just like you. I'm sitting there. I'm not here. I'm there. I'm sitting there, and I suited up and showed up when people like myself would come and speak. I was like that, listening, like every bit that I could get along the way was what I received. Every bit.
Okay, I want to double check. I'm gonna get to you. I want to make sure we don't have anything online. Casa, did you have anything else before I take a few more questions in the room? Anybody from Casa have anything else for us? If you're good, let us know. We're good? Oh, Miss Marche, you got something? Or are you saying we're good? Okay, 10-4. She said, keep it moving. That's sign language for keep it moving. Okay, sir, what did you have for us?
Hello, JR here. And I just want to tell you that I think we just got a little piece for you tonight. I see inside of you that there's a ton of fight, and it's strong. I would go against anything with you by my side. Okay?
Oh, look at
Because
you.
I dig where you're coming from. And I'm just telling you that. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
different people.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do a dang thing with a lot of them because I'd be looking for them. What would happen? But I'm just telling you, there's a lot of fight inside of you.
Yeah.
And what you've been through, you're utilizing it to promote and to share, because you're not ashamed of your past. It is what it is. It happened when it happened. You keep jumping back. Well, guess what? It just takes you a little bit longer, and it makes you a little stronger. But you know what? Your time with your kids, you just need to work on you. And guess what? It's going to shine right through to them, and they're going to see, well, what are they talking about? She don't look like about all that, you know. And I see that, and I see the connection. It's going to be there. But you just got to continue. I feel that I'm hearing from God that I don't want to tell you what I think you should be doing, but it's I'm afraid to. Okay, I'm not afraid of much. So, but I think God is just building you up, and I see you on stage, just belting some stuff out.
Yeah.
And it's about what you shared with us today.
Yeah.
And you're just getting down, and there's so much emotion and love and anger and fire and man, I see a lot of it. And I say this almost at all these huddles, and it's one of my favorite things is God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make garbage. So everybody's designed to do something. It's about time when they want to put their pants on.
That's right.
And get busy and do it. And I just commend you. And
Thank you.
Where are you playing in Vegas so we can all check you out?
Well, I have a show coming up. I'm, like I had said earlier, I'm definitely working on the Mary J. Blige tribute, which Mary and I have very similar stories in some ways. Mine is her having children. She never had children, but she did have drugs in her story, and, domestic violence. And I've been with Mary since 1994. And they've always told me, even in the halls of school, you remind me of, maybe I don't look like her, but there's this mannerism that I have.
Yeah.
Everybody's been saying
She's
for
singing
years.
from her heart. And
Yeah.
I mean, I watched a lot of her work, and I
Yeah.
could see that when she's recording and doing things, these different YouTube videos I've seen of her.
We
she-
sound exactly like I'm actually a voiceover artist, so I create the full character, the voice, the glasses, the look, the
there you
everything.
go.
My
I can
show
see
is
it.
coming up at the Urban Lounge on October the 22nd. You can buy tickets right now on Eventbrite. It's called Family Affair, a Mary J. experience featuring Tommy
It's
Bell.
a family affair.
Yeah, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. You guys should come and check it out.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna, I know we had a few more questions, but we want to wrap up. I don't know if we typically do this, but I want to pray over you before we
Absolutely.
head out. Is that okay, everybody? Father, I am so thankful
Mhm.
that you would allow your beautiful, gorgeous daughter to grace our presence tonight.
Mhm.
Father, we just stand in agreement with her that every single thing she even think about, that you're already putting the team together. You're already causing the buildings to become available. You're already sending the funding, Father. You're already sending the partners and those who are going to pray and cover her and encourage her and be her eyes and ears, Lord, when things start to scale and take off and grow, that you're sending her the people with her heart, with your heart. Father, we thank you that you would just allow us to see this miracle play out. Amen. And I thank you that she knows that we are behind her 1,000%, that we would commit in this room and on this live to continue to pray for her and support her in all her endeavors, Father. So we thank you that she is fully restored in every single way, from relational, financial, whatever she might have thought she lost, Father. We thank you that she get it back 100-fold. And we just appreciate what you're doing in all of our lives. You're the God who restores. You love us and we appreciate it in Jesus'
Thank you.
name.
In Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. We love you, Facebook. We love you, Zoom. We love you, Casa. We'll see you next week.
No. God bless
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Worthy